In a tense and dramatic moment during the high-profile trial against Sean "Diddy" Combs, emotions ran wild as the courtroom was rocked by an explosive video featuring Justin Bieber. The footage, played by the prosecution, revealed raw and emotional moments that struck a chord with everyone present, including Combs himself. The video highlighted Bieber's struggles as a young star navigating the dark and often dangerous underbelly of the music industry, a world intertwined with Combs's vast empire. As the video played, Diddy's composure visibly cracked, revealing the deep personal stakes involved. This powerful courtroom scene underscored the broader themes of exploitation, control, and trauma at the heart of the case, setting the tone for what promises to be a landmark trial in entertainment history. The backdrop: understanding the legal quagmire. To fully grasp the magnitude of this situation, one must rewind and examine the chaotic web of allegations, lawsuits, and courtroom drama that led to this crisis. Sean Combs's journey from celebrated artist and businessman to a defendant embroiled in serious criminal proceedings reflects a dramatic fall from grace, fueled by accusations that go beyond mere celebrity scandal. Combs is currently defending himself against 6 federal trafficking charges, allegations that carry severe potential penalties and threaten not only his personal freedom but also the empire he painstakingly built over decades. These charges form just one part of a sprawling legal landscape, which also includes a high-profile civil lawsuit involving allegations of sexual assault. The lawsuit, filed by a Jane Doe, claims that Combs and another high-profile celebrity participated in the rape of a minor after the Video Music Awards in 2006, with the victim stating she was just 13 years old at the time. The role of Jay-Z and legal disputes. Over allegations, adding further complexity to this case, is the involvement of Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, who has been named in an amended complaint filed weeks after the initial lawsuit. The inclusion of Jay-Z in the accusations has sent shockwaves through the industry, and he has responded by aggressively attacking the credibility of the lawsuit's attorney, Tony Buzbee. Jay-Z's legal team accuses Buzbee of substantial inaccuracies and a failure to properly investigate the claims before proceeding. This civil suit and the ensuing legal battles have not only added layers to Combs's troubles, but have also fractured relationships within the music industry. The allegations paint a dark picture of predatory behavior within Hollywood's elite circles, leading to a distancing by once trusted allies. The lawsuit and its fallout hint at a culture of silence and complicity that has shielded powerful figures for years. The Justin Bieber connection, a troubling mentor-mentee relationship. Among the most disturbing revelations in this saga is Diddy's controversial relationship with pop superstar Justin Bieber during his formative years in the music industry. Bieber, who burst onto the scene as a teenager, was often seen in close company with Combs, a fact that has raised many eyebrows in the wake of the allegations against the mogul. In September, following Combs's arrest, fans and observers began scrutinizing the nature of his influence over Bieber. Footage from 2009 resurfaced, showing Combs boasting about spending 48 hours with a 15-year-old Bieber, describing it as a secretive and exclusive time together. Combs's words and demeanor in the clip struck many as unsettling in hindsight, especially as more information about the dark undercurrents of Hollywood's industry culture emerged. The relationship appeared as an unofficial initiation into the industry, a rite of passage that some believe involved exploitative dynamics. Bieber was only 15 at the time and in the hands of powerful adults, including Combs, who wielded significant influence over the young star's career and personal development. Bieber's early career was also shaped by usher and manager Scooter Braun, but in recent months, Bieber has distanced himself from these figures, sparking speculation about his attempts to forge a new path free from their shadow. The montage that sparked outrage, Edie magazine's revelations. In an era where social media can shape public opinion in moments, Edie magazine ignited a firestorm of controversy with a provocative TikTok montage that spotlighted Justin Bieber's early years in Hollywood. The compilation featured a series of clips capturing interactions between Bieber, who was a minor at the time, and adult figures deeply entrenched in the entertainment industry. Many viewers described the footage as unsettling, exposing moments that appeared exploitative or inappropriate, raising alarm about the vulnerability of young stars caught in the unforgiving glare of fame. The montage didn't just remind viewers of Bieber's youthful innocence, it laid bare a systemic failure within the entertainment industry to protect its youngest talents. The scenes highlighted how power imbalances and unchecked authority often left minors exposed to manipulation, coercion, and emotional exploitation. Comment sections beneath the video rapidly filled with expressions of discomfort, sadness, and outrage. Many viewers articulated feelings of violation on behalf of Bieber, reflecting a broader concern about how many young performers are left to navigate an adult world rife with predatory behavior without adequate safeguards. This compilation served as a potent symbol of the ongoing reckoning in Hollywood, where the facade of glamour increasingly clashes with the darker realities faced by those who are most vulnerable. For many, it confirmed what has long been whispered, that the entertainment industry's system is frequently rigged to benefit the powerful while sacrificing the well-being of young stars. The allegations of freak-offs and control over performers. Central to the growing scandal involving Sean "Diddy" Combs are disturbing allegations concerning the so-called freak-offs, private sex performances, that insiders claim Combs orchestrated and tightly controlled. According to court documents and insider testimonies, these events were not merely private parties, but carefully managed productions in which women were coerced or pressured into sexually explicit performances under Combs's direction. This level of control is a stark illustration of the abuse of power endemic to the darker side of the entertainment world. Victims and witnesses describe an environment where consent was blurred or outright ignored, and where those who dared resist were silenced or intimidated. The notion of freak-offs paints a grim picture of exploitation, masked as industry networking or entertainment, underscoring how power was wielded not just for professional gain, but for personal gratification. The resurfacing of footage and first-hand accounts has intensified public scrutiny, prompting renewed calls for accountability. If these allegations are substantiated, they will reveal a deliberate and predatory system designed to degrade and control rather than uplift performers, particularly women, who found themselves caught in these toxic dynamics. It is a stark reminder of how the veneer of celebrity and success can obscure brutal realities behind closed doors. Legal battles over. Video evidence. The fight for transparency. The ongoing legal battle surrounding Sean Combs has become a high-stakes contest over control and transparency of crucial evidence. In a dramatic courtroom development, prosecutors presented a powerful video that contained details potentially damaging to Combs's defense. The footage, though fiercely contested by defense attorneys, became a focal point of the trial's early phase. Combs's legal team quickly pushed back, filing motions demanding full access to copies of all video evidence, citing their rights under the federal rules of criminal procedure. Their argument centered on the necessity to thoroughly review and analyze the electronic evidence to mount an effective defense. Yet, Judge Subramanian denied the motion to amend the protective order that would have allowed the defense to possess the videos outright. Instead, the court offered a compromise. The defense could view and work with the evidence in controlled environments, but could not retain copies. This tug-of-war over evidence access underscores the intense legal maneuvering at play as both sides prepare for a protracted and heavily scrutinized trial. For prosecutors, limiting access helps protect sensitive material and potentially prevents tampering or leaks, while the defense insists that without full access, their ability to challenge the evidence is hampered. This battle is emblematic of broader issues in high-profile criminal cases where transparency, privacy, and legal strategy intersect. Justin Bieber's shift, distancing and new beginnings. Amid the growing storm surrounding his former associates, Justin Bieber appears to be consciously forging a new path, one that distances him from the figures who shaped his early career. Bieber's recent moves, such as unfollowing Usher, a key mentor, on social media, and severing ties with longtime manager Scooter Braun, signal a deliberate effort to leave behind the tumultuous past that many believe contributed to his struggles. Sources close to Bieber reveal that his priorities have shifted toward his immediate family, including his wife Hailey and their young son. This personal reorientation contrasts sharply with the chaotic and often exploitative environment Bieber endured as a teenage star. In interviews, Bieber has been unusually candid about the difficulties young performers face in Hollywood, openly criticizing the lack of protections and guidance from those who should have safeguarded him. His decision to step back from industry relationships tied to his early years reflects a broader theme of reclaiming control and healing. For Bieber, this is not just a professional recalibration, but a deeply personal transformation, one rooted in a desire to protect his own family from the very forces that once endangered him. The Fall of Babylon. Hollywood's reckoning. What is unfolding in this case is far more than a celebrity scandal. Many view it as the symbolic fall of Babylon, a term evoking the collapse of a once glorious empire now revealed to be built on exploitation, corruption, and abuse. The sprawling lawsuits, criminal charges, and vivid testimonies against Sean Combs and his network mark a seismic shift in how the entertainment industry confronts its darkest chapters. For decades, moguls like Combs wielded near untouchable power, their influence extending from music studios to corporate boardrooms. But the current wave of legal challenges and survivor advocacy threatens to dismantle these old power structures. Whistleblowers and victims, long silenced or ignored, are now stepping into the spotlight with compelling stories that expose the mechanisms of abuse. This reckoning extends beyond any single figure. It challenges the culture that allowed such abuses to flourish unchecked, the culture of secrecy, intimidation, and misplaced loyalty. The movement toward accountability is gaining momentum, fueled by public outrage and a growing recognition that entertainment giants must be held to the same standards of justice as anyone else. The ripple effect of Justin Bieber's break with Scooter Braun. Justin Bieber's recent decision to sever ties with his longtime manager Scooter Braun was not an isolated act. Fans and insiders quickly noticed that Hailey Bieber, Justin's wife, joined in by also blocking Scooter on social media platforms, signaling a broader break within their inner circle. This wasn't merely a social media spat, but seemed to reflect deeper tensions and trauma within Bieber's personal and professional life. This move caught the attention of many, especially as it coincided with Bieber's more public grappling with the darker, hidden realities of the music industry. Among the moments that resonated most with the public was a deeply emotional interview where Bieber spoke candidly about his desire to shield young stars, like Billie Eilish, from the harmful and exploitative aspects of the entertainment world. His words were not just casual reflections, but a stark plea that echoed amid the unfolding legal chaos involving Sean "Diddy" Combs. Bieber's heartfelt call for protection underscored a poignant irony. While he was trying to safeguard others, his own past and associations were being scrutinized for much darker reasons. The start of a shocking legal battle. The prosecution's case against Diddy began with a single harrowing accusation. An aspiring musician, referred to only as John Doe, alleged that at a 2015 after-party, Sean Combs drugged and sexually assaulted him. But this initial claim was just the surface of a far more disturbing story. A deeper investigation unearthed what prosecutors described as a sprawling criminal enterprise, a calculated network involving human trafficking, coercion, and systemic abuse that had persisted over many years. These revelations shattered the glamorous facade of Diddy's public image, exposing a ruthless underbelly where victims were manipulated and silenced. In an interview with Zane Lowe in 2020 on Apple Music, Diddy had expressed a protective sentiment toward Billie Eilish, a rising young artist. He spoke with unexpected vulnerability about wanting to shield her from the darker forces at play in the industry, revealing a side of himself that contrasted sharply with the allegations now mounting against him. The video from this interview, widely circulated, captures Diddy's emotional plea, his voice wavering as he talks about the challenges young artists face and the need for genuine protection. Behind the glitter, a darker reality. What the public hadn't seen before was the stark contrast between Diddy's protective words and the reality behind closed doors. His infamous private parties, now known as Wild King Nights, were reportedly hubs of illicit activity involving drugs like ketamine, Molly, and even substances intended to manipulate or incapacitate attendees. Accounts from former employees and insiders describe a toxic environment where power dynamics played a crucial role, particularly in targeting young women and vulnerable individuals. Justin Bieber's proximity to this chaotic world raised unsettling questions. Was he merely a bystander caught in the glitz and glam? Or was he also a victim? The resurfacing of videos and testimonies suggested that Bieber, still in his teenage years at the time, was immersed in a culture far more sinister than anyone had realized. These clips showed Diddy boasting about spending extended time with Bieber, framing it as an almost ritualistic passage into the industry. The implications are deeply troubling, and if prosecutors' evidence proves as damning as insiders claim, it could dramatically alter public understanding of these events. The untold stories of victims and witnesses, the unfolding scandal surrounding Sean "Diddy" Combs has cast a harsh spotlight on a world long shrouded in secrecy, exploitation, and fear. Among the voices emerging from the shadows is Phil Pines, a former senior executive assistant to Combs from 2019 to 2021. Pines' testimony offers one of the rare insider glimpses into the infamous Wild King Nights, lavish parties notorious for their excess and darkness. Pines described his role in these gatherings as far more than a mere assistant. He was tasked with procuring a litany of illicit substances and party supplies, including alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, and Molly. These parties were not simply wild celebrations, but often included underage and young women, many caught in an exploitative power dynamic orchestrated by Combs. Pines noted that the younger women were particularly vulnerable, impressionable, and easier to manipulate within an environment saturated with drugs, influence, and coercion. In multiple interviews and recently released audio clips, Pines recounts chilling details that further illuminate the toxic atmosphere around Combs. He recalls explicit demands for drugs made directly by Combs, alongside calls for absolute loyalty, using language that underscored a culture of control and intimidation. Pines vividly described an incident where Combs grabbed him by the shoulders, urging him to prove your loyalty, a moment that laid bare the intensity of pressure and subjugation exerted over those in his inner circle. The cultural fallout and industry impact. As the trial against Combs looms large, the entertainment industry finds itself at a crossroads. What once began as hushed whispers and rumors has erupted into a scandal that threatens to topple one of music's most formidable figures and dismantle his vast empire. For many within the industry, and especially for Justin Bieber, this moment is profoundly defining. Bieber's recent public actions highlight this shift. In a clear break from the past, he has unfollowed Usher, his original mentor, on social media, and cut professional ties with Scooter Braun, his longtime manager. These moves have sent a powerful message. Bieber is determined to distance himself from the complex, often toxic networks that shaped his early career. Sources close to him confirm that his focus is now firmly on his family, his wife Hailey and their young son, marking a new chapter rooted in stability and healing. Bieber has also begun speaking candidly about his experiences as a young star navigating Hollywood's treacherous waters. His reflections reveal vulnerability and betrayal, resonating with many young artists who have faced similar pressures, isolation, and exploitation. By sharing his story, Bieber humanizes the narrative and shines a spotlight on the urgent need for reform and protection within an industry too often complicit in its own failures. The question of accountability and power. At the heart of this sprawling drama lies a fundamental question about the dynamics of power, influence, and accountability within the entertainment industry. How could such egregious abuses go unchecked for so long? Who allowed a culture of silence and complicity to flourish, enabling predators to act with impunity? And most importantly, how can the industry implement meaningful protections to safeguard young stars from future exploitation? The testimonies, lawsuits, and harrowing video evidence unveiled in court do more than support legal claims. They serve as a clarion call. They expose a culture that prioritized fame, fortune, and image over the safety and dignity of vulnerable individuals. Behind the glittering veneer of stardom, there was often a ruthless environment where young talents were manipulated and exploited for personal gain. This reckoning is not just about punishing individual wrongdoers, it's about confronting the systemic failures that allowed such behavior to persist. It demands transparency, oversight, and reforms that dismantle the structures enabling abuse. The trial promises to challenge not only the accused, but also the complacency and complicity of an industry that has too often looked the other way. Looking ahead, the trial and its broader implications. Currently incarcerated in a federal jail in Brooklyn, Sean Combs faces an array of serious charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, human trafficking, and obstruction of justice. Though he has pleaded not guilty, the evidence and testimonies mounting against him paint a complex, far-reaching picture of criminal enterprise. This trial is poised to become one of the most significant in entertainment history. Beyond Combs as an individual, it will scrutinize an empire built on music, glamour, and influence, and reveal the darker realities lurking beneath. For victims and survivors, this legal battle represents a critical opportunity for justice, a chance for their voices to be heard and their pain acknowledged after years of silence. The public, too, faces a moment of reckoning. This case serves as a stark reminder that beneath the glitz, glamour, and allure of fame often lies a troubling, hidden reality. It calls for vigilance, empathy, and a collective commitment to change. The trial's outcome could set a precedent that reshapes the industry's approach to abuse and exploitation, ushering in an era where accountability is not optional. The fall of Hollywood Babylon? As the legal proceedings intensify, many commentators have likened this moment to the fall of Hollywood Babylon, evoking the collapse of a decadent empire long cloaked in secrecy and sin. This scandal threatens not only to dismantle the career and legacy of one of music's most powerful moguls, but also to shatter the illusions that have protected a toxic cultural landscape for decades. Justin Bieber's personal evolution, from a vulnerable child star to a man intent on shielding the next generation, mirrors this broader narrative of reckoning and reform. His journey underscores the human cost of an industry too often willing to sacrifice its youth for profit and prestige. The coming months and years will be critical. The world will watch closely to see if justice can prevail, if survivors can find healing, and if Hollywood can finally confront the shadows lurking behind its dazzling facade. This is more than a trial. It is a pivotal moment in the ongoing effort to transform an industry long in need of change.